So pretty much like a few things that I've learned within this time frame of like 8 months of home ownership, um, that I would share with you guys that I'd absolutely want to know before I bought a home. And then also the things that I'm kind of like learning as time goes along. So then that way it's less time for you to learn. And also we create a kind of community where people can kind of come with their suggestions or things that have worked for them, or even their questions, you know. Um, yeah, I think that'll be the goal. So let's go ahead and get into the video. And to start, yeah, in the yard, if you have a backyard, let's say you buy a home, you have a backyard or a front yard, if you're not paying someone to cut it or paying someone to trim it, then you, my friend, are the person who will be doing it. Next, you have me here fixing fence. Have never fixed a fence before. Um, I usually hop on YouTube and figure it out. A big part of home ownership is figuring it out, whether it's YouTube, advice, friends, family. A huge part of what I know how to do is because of my upbringing. So, like, my dad kind of like raised me, and he would have me do things like cutting the yard. It actually became, something that I do now often here, and it just feels normal or natural to do. It just feels like, oh, I've been doing this since I was a kid, so this really isn't that big of a deal. Perfect example was like plumbing. One time the sink started to overflow, and I had seen my dad do it enough to know, like, okay, for one, it's possible to do, and for two, all I need is the right tools. Um, so if you are becoming a new homeowner, or uh, even if you rent, you know, a lot of things the landlord will either fix, or if you fix for them, they might cut you a deal, or they might even look out for you more because you're taking care of the property. So having the right tools is huge, is a very big thing. Um, Bills, expenses, being able to sit down and go over certain expenses was a huge game changer, to know where our money was going. And then also when we're planning things in advance, like if we're planning a trip, like we want to know months in advance, so then we can start saving for it. It's less of just like, throwing money at certain things just to get them done, and finding different areas that we can kind of cut back or also increase our investing. Never had a spa before or a jacuzzi, but I've learned so much about how to treat a spa and how to maintain it and take care of it, because it has become my responsibility. Um, and with that even being said, like, responsibility is a huge thing and a huge weight. And personally, I feel like that really separates like the boy from the man, you know, uh, accepting responsibility and saying like, okay, like these things have to get done, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done by any means. There's the responsibility and the freedom that comes with it, because now we have a place for family and friends to come over. We have a place that is peaceful, and we work really hard to keep that peace. Um, but home ownership is a test. Like, it's absolutely one of those things that is not meant for everyone. And I don't, advise anyone to go and buy a property or buy a home, if that's not what they want. Um, Home ownership comes with, you know, you're cooking. You cook a lot. If that's something that you're into, being in the kitchen, making your meals, knowing what goes into it, to the point where, we go out to certain restaurants, and I'm just like, I can make this better at home. And I much rather make it at home because I don't know what their kitchen looks like. Being in the garden, we have our butterfly garden, which this was her idea, my fiance, when we came, and she was like, I want a butterfly garden. So of course we go to Home Depot. We get the proper plants, and I go to work as I usually do, like, sitting down with the idea and saying, okay, this is where you want these things to go. Okay, let's figure out how to do it. And a lot of it is trial and error. A lot of things don't initially work on the first go round, but as long as you stick with the issue or the problem, and work through it, you're absolutely fine. You know, you won't really have too much of a difficulty there. I do understand there are some things that are a little bit out of my scope. So, impact windows and doors and putting those up, I was like, get professionals. We gotta get professionals for that. But something like putting up lights around the house, sign me up. Um, Mowing the lawn, sign me up. Trimming the trees, cutting the shrubs, like sign me up. Like I can do those things, and I will, not only to save a pretty penny, but then also, you know, it's good to be outside. Home ownership also, there's a lot of freedom that comes with it. So us being able to enjoy 4th of July together, us being able to just sit in our backyard and enjoy the sound of the birds, creating peace and tranquility amongst ourselves, and inviting friends and family over to have a good time. Like those things come with home ownership, uh, and to sustain like balance in this area and to make sure things are done correctly. It's a two-person job. For us at least, it's a two-person job. It's not just one person does it all, or the other person just reaps all the benefits. It's more of like we help each other. So like certain things that I'm necessarily good at, I'll go ahead and knock out, and then things that she's really good at, she'll take the lead and go for it, and we support each other throughout that. So again, home ownership is amazing, and a huge responsibility at the same time. For anyone who's thinking about doing it, credit is very important. Making sure your finances are in line, and if you are going into it with a partner or another investor, just make sure you trust them, because there's going to be tons of work to do, and tons of things that you guys have to agree upon, or at least work together on. But aside from that, it's absolutely beautiful, and I don't know if it's much of the American dream anymore, but for me, it was. For us, it was having a home was on our bucket list. So if it's on your bucket list, like I wish you the best to accomplish it, and let's create a community.